Hey, what's up? This is the 12th one in the series of Reading Trump's Wall. This is where I go and I read the post-its that were put on the Union Square subway station's wall. I took a video of it. And this is a series where I keep in mind that people literally mean things figuratively. What would people literally mean by what they wrote on the wall? For instance, I wrote Trump train to Magaland is for everyone. I didn't literally mean we're going to get into a train and go to an actual physical location called Magaland. So what did I figuratively mean? I figuratively meant that Trump is something that's actually going to be involved. This Trump train is a movement, is an ideological movement, is a global movement that people are involved with and connected with, and mentally actually it's going to have changes that are going to affect pretty much everyone in the world, whether you're aware of Trump or not. So I said, okay, you can either get on the Trump train, you can watch the Trump train pass, you can hear the Trump train in the distance, like or maybe you're not even aware of the Trump train, but what that Trump train is doing is actually affecting your life, everyone's life in some kind of way. And that's part of this series, Into the Reading. So I'm trying to keep these between 10 and 15 minutes, and this is a bonus to the 11th section, which I had about a 5 to 6 minute current affairs thing before I actually got into the reading, which got into the reading of the post-its. So in this bonus one, I'm going to get right into reading the post-its right now. The first post-it for today is, "We don't need Trump." Okay, so who's we in this situation? This is the thing I was wondering with the United States of America, or just people in general when they say we, this collectivism type of thing. What is the we situation? Is it we Americans? Is it the United States of America? Is it we Democrats? I don't know what this person identifies as. So what is the group that this person identifies themselves to be a part of? Now, when you think about it, are there other people who need Trump? Who does this person think they need? Would they say we need Barack Obama? We need George Bush Jr.? Does this person think we need Hillary Clinton for some reason? And what would be the argumentation that we would need that person? Now, if they don't think they need that person, do they accept and agree that there are some other people who are not in that we that may need Trump or may think they need Trump for some reason? So that's the thing I would ask on the literal situation. And literally, I don't think anyone would technically need Trump besides the main people in Trump's life, in his circle, his loved ones and things like that, may need him for certain various things in his life. His wife, I'm sure, feels that she needs him in a way. His kids feel like they need him as a parent. His cousins, his aunts, his brothers, and people like that, they feel like they need him. Then now when you extend it, did the Republican Party need him in order to get power back? Yes, I think the Republican Party needed Trump, literally, in order to win that election. I think if they ran anyone else against Hillary Clinton, they would have lost. Now, I personally think that I needed Trump in a way to come out and be that person who can stand up against the system, the zeitgeist that was going on, and get to a situation where people can have conversations like I'm having in this video. Get to a situation where people question the actual coverage from the media. Is what the media is saying, is it biased? Do we actually need these systems? Now it comes to a situation where there's some people who claim to want certain things from government, and then now they get in that situation. Yes, when you set it up, when you give the state these abilities, it might be somebody like Barack Obama who you think has your best interest in mind controlling the system. But then on the other hand, it might be someone like Trump who you dislike. And this also goes to situations. Now you see people on the political right, on the Republicans, who you wonder, these people were complaining about certain things that Barack Obama did, certain executive actions that he was taking. But now if they have someone like Trump who has more of the ideals that they have, do they still support that same action? Is it a thing of they're against the things in principle, or they're against it when it's not their team doing this? So this is something that I think is a positive thing that has come out from this. And I think if you didn't have someone like Trump, who had that independent, wealthy situation, who was a global figure like this, who was such a character that he could come up and stand up against all that negativity that was coming towards him and still has, then I think it would be a different situation. It takes a certain kind of person to actually get into that situation. And there is one line that Trump said about, it was in one of his speeches. I remember there was like a plane behind him that was done in the airport, and he was kind of thinking, like, why am I doing this? He's like, I just love this country and I want to give something back. Now, I truly believe, to me, that has been something that I truly believe he means that. Now, when it comes down to it, you and I might not agree with what he imagines, describes the country as. But coming from that position, I don't necessarily begrudge him from that, and I don't begrudge other people from having their definitions of what the United States of America is and trying to actually obtain those things. So what is the United States of America? How do you get the place great again? What do you actually need from the person to do that? What does he need to actually do what he actually wants to do? So those are things to consider. Now, when it comes to the figurative situation, I don't think people need the state. I hope one thing people come out of this, you start to realize they need the state, they need these institutions less and less and less. Because there's going to be a point where you set these things up and then somebody else who you may not like will have control over those same mechanisms that you're setting up to supposedly give you the things. But if you have that on a personal basis, you get to a situation where people have as much liberty and freedoms on their own, where you are free from the negative effects of other people and you can enjoy the positive results of your own actions, but vice versa as well. People aren't forced or don't have some kind of requirement to help you from your negative situations, and you don't have any claim or ownership over the positive results of other people's actions. But despite that, it is in our best interest to be useful to the other people, to be good to other people, because there are going to be times when you are in need. And if you also have been good and not harmful to other people will see there also is a benefit for them to come and help you out and make sure you are also healthy. This is a situation where we understand this. I think we can understand this without requiring the state apparatus in order to control these things for that. Yes, I don't need Trump to walk me through my daily life. Neither do you. But you don't need Hillary Clinton either. You don't need Barack Obama. You don't need Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, George Bush, anybody else, Nancy Pelosi. Here in Kenya, you don't need Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, Raila Odinga, all these leaders that people are saying, oh, we need things from you. You don't necessarily need those things from you. You need very little from other people when you actually have that ability to be the best you and build that up in your community and in your environment. So anyway, that's what I think about that. Who do you think needs Trump? Do you think we need Trump? Do you need Trump? Do other people need Trump? Has Trump been needed? What do you think you needed Trump to do? Do you feel like there's certain things you needed Trump to do over his last term that he didn't do? Do you think there are things that, oh, you realize, wow, I didn't know I needed this, but he did it, and yeah, here we go. Okay, into the next one. Kill him. Okay, so this one is, if this person literally meant this, we have seen there has been a lot of political violence from people who are ostensibly on the political left. There have been actual shootings of people who have said they were Bernie supporters. We have seen people like Antifa who are on the political left who have engaged in very violent protests. So despite this whole situation of, oh, Trump was going to do this, Trump supporters are going to do this, on the contrary, there have been documented cases of people who were planning and planned to, and actually did this, go to Trump events to initiate aggression. So there may be some people with thoughts and things like that you disagree with, but we have seen actual violence towards people who were Trump supporters. There's actually lists online, just search violence against Trump supporters. There's lists of people who have kept that up, who have shown all this violence coming from the political left to the political right in that situation. So this whole situation of writing kill him, do they literally mean this? There might be some people who literally would think that they would be happy if he was killed, if the president was shot. And that has been a thing that people, we don't understand. We're living in a good time. The thing with political violence was a much more common thing. There were situations, even in the United States of America, where it was rather recent assassinations were a common thing. We're not talking about going back to Abe Lincoln, but even as recently with the situation with JFK, which was in the 60s, and then his brother, I think one of the Kennedys was shot. But you've had that situation. As I mentioned before, there was a shooting at the baseball game of Senator Steve Scalise and a few other people. Then I think there was Gabby Griffiths or something. There was a Democratic politician. So that whole situation of violence being involved, of violence being directed towards politicians, is a thing that people have been very worried about. The media now has talked about, oh, Trump is encouraging violence against media people and freaking out about this thing, saying this is the end of democracy, it's going to change things. But would they cover something like this? If this person literally meant this, should Secret Service try to get this handwriting, get through the handwriting experts, try to check the cameras that were in the area, see who put this post-it, and find out, like, okay, who did this person actually do this? Is this person actually planning to do this kind of thing? But now, this is the kind of thing that people say this is the rhetoric coming from the right. So in this situation, do people think this was a Trump supporter who came out there and decided to put this up? Or do people think this is somebody on the political left? This is somebody who disliked Trump. And then when you put Trump in that situation and you say he is like that one short Austrian guy from back in 1940, involved in starting the whole World War II situation, he is that person. And then that's the kind of person that people often talk about. If you went back in time and had a time machine and found that person as a child, would you kill that person? So people are already in the mindset where they actually can think of killing this person as a baby because of the things that person is going to do in the future. Now, they put that on Trump, they project that on Trump, and they say Trump is going to do these things in the future. So having somebody say kill him, it actually is couched in that kind of language. So I can understand why this language can lead to negative things happening. And this is not a positive thing. This is not a healthy thing to put out there. So I don't think they literally meant that. Although there are some people who literally do think that. Do I think they would literally actually go through the steps to do it? No. Gladly, I don't think a lot of people are really about that smoke enough to actually plan and actually go out there and kill somebody. There's a lot of situations where people won't actually kill somebody even when they are in direct threat of dying, despite what people think, despite people might think about general humanity in general. It is not a common thing. Most people in general don't even want to know how their meat comes to their table because they actually saw that process. It might put them off of actually eating meat because they won't want to know that an actual life, an actual other living creature has been killed. So this whole situation of just throwing out kill him, I think this is another Americanism type of thing. It's a first world nature thing where people are just unattached with it, and people just have an odd relationship with actual death. This might be in part due to desensitization from video games and media and movies and things like that, where you can just reset or you can just rewind, or it's glorified in this kind of sense or put in this sense, or people are detached from it. They don't necessarily see death. It's not a common thing because of how good life has become for a lot of people, where it's not a thing that they actually have a direct relationship with, so they're not as aware of it as some people are. And somebody pointed this out. This might be a difference with maybe the reaction to the current pandemic in the world in a place like the United States of America versus a place like here in Kenya, where people might be more used to people dying from illnesses. It's still a regular thing. Malaria is a big thing here. The healthcare system isn't as built up as it is in the United States of America, nor do people have the same levels of expectation of maintaining a certain level of health as people in the United States of America have. All this is accepting the whole obesity situation. I still think people in the United States of America are more healthy in general than people have been in the past. And one small aside, I was talking to a friend of mine and she just pointed out that with 100-year-old people, it's almost like we've invented new people because people just had such a lower lifespan back then. Like, just what is it to be a human at 100 years old? That's something rather new. And in the past, one of the misconceptions with a lower birth rate isn't that, oh, people used to live to 25. Yeah, they'd say the average rate was 25, but that's because they were counting the really high childhood mortality rate. A lot of people, I think like 15% of people didn't make it past 2 or 3. So if you add that to the general life rate, then it knocks it down. But if you made it into your 20s, most people would actually get to their 60s. But when you have 15% of people not even seeing 1 or 2, that knocks down the average. But anyway, we've invented like new humans. When we're talking about the healthcare system, a basic thing that I've mentioned before, I'll mention again, is they're trying to do new tests to see, okay, what is the average temperature of humans? Because the first time they actually checked the average temperature was back in the 80s or something, or in the 50s. It was some time, but in general, the average person there was dealing with some kind of issue, some kind of bacteria or virus was going around in the system. So they thought they were healthy, they seemed to be healthy, and they were healthy in comparison. Their definition of health at that time was actually dealing with a minor fever. So their temperature was actually a few degrees hotter. So they're finding the temperature is falling and dropping because now they're finding that the average actual healthy disease-free human is actually a lot cooler, like a few degrees cooler than what we thought. So anyway, this whole situation, somebody just saying kill him, I don't think it's the same literally with this as it has been in the past. This is more kind of figurative sense. What do you guys think? Do you think this person should be tracked down? Do you think this is more a feature of the people on the left? Do you think this is Trump derangement syndrome? Do you think this person still thinks, okay, if somebody actually had killed him back then, the world would be better now, 4 years after this person posted this? Let me know what you think. Till next video in this series, like, share, and subscribe. Really like to engage you in the comments section. You can check out the rest of the series. As I said, this is the 12th one. I'll keep doing these. There's been some merchandise on the screen right now. You can go down there, buy t-shirts, cups, and different kind of things with designs. I'll keep that updating. If you want to support the channel, like a one-time donation on PayPal or something, there's a link below to that as well. So one more time, thanks a lot. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification thing if you're listening to this on YouTube. If you're on BitChute, maybe there's a notification. I don't know. Anyway, till next time, thanks again. Goodbye.